Very good evening to all our viewers. I'm Chaiti Narula. Now, as the coronavirus outbreak has spread to more countries, a suspected case of virus has been reported at Mumbai airport. 2,285 passengers from 19 flights who have arrived from 12 different countries, including Iran, Italy, China, Japan and South Korea, were screened at the Chhatrapati Shivaji airport. Meanwhile, in the national capital, all the 112 Wuhan evacuees housed at an ITBP quarantine facility have been tested negative for coronavirus. The first samples were sent to AIIMS and then the reports came negative. The quarantine period will continue for another 14 days. 76 Indians and 36 foreigners were taken to ITBP camp on February 27th after they were flown in from Wuhan city on an IAF transport plane. Has announced its first death from the deadly coronavirus. This is Trump administration stepped up efforts to combat the spread of this virus. Travel restrictions have now been imposed on several places on travel from Iran. Citizens have been asked to not travel to certain areas of South Korea and Italy. President Trump urged Americans not to panic and claimed that the US is ready to deal with the virus. As many as 15 people have recovered from the virus thus far in the United States of America. According to Center for Disease Control Director Robert Redfield, 22 cases of coronavirus have been reported in the US so far.
My administration announced new measures to protect Americans to the fullest extent possible. In addition to the existing ban on travel by most Iranian nationals, we're banning the travel of anyone who has been to Iran in the last 14 days. They're having a very big outbreak. And I say here and now, if we can help the Iranians, we're doing certain things for them now, and if we can help the Iranians, we have the greatest healthcare professionals in the world, and if we can help the Iranians with this problem, we are certainly willing to do so. We would love to be able to help them, and all they have to do is ask. We will have great professionals over there. We have the best in the world.
So it seems that the epicenter of coronavirus seems to be shifting from China to other parts of the world. Here's a special segment, World Nearing Standstill.
What started as a bout of flu in Wuhan became an epidemic as it raced through Hubei province of China and began spreading outwardly. It all started in December 2019, and in these 3 odd months, life in China has been severely affected. The once bustling streets of Beijing have now slowed down, but the virus has still not stopped spreading. COVID-19 is now a global pandemic. As on February 28th, it has been detected in 45 countries, with more than 80,000 people to have been reported to be officially affected by the virus. China has removed a game, Plague Inc., from the local version of Apple's App Store. The game allows players to create a lethal viral epidemic that spreads across the world. The real world too has started taking extreme measures to curb the live virus from spreading. Japan has ordered the shutting of all schools. In Hokkaido, where Olympic marathons are due to take place this summer, a state of emergency has been declared. The organizers of Tokyo Olympics 2020 are debating the scaling back of the traditional Olympic torch relay. European markets are on the cusp of their worst week since the global economic slowdown of 2008. Big ticket companies, Apple and Microsoft, that drive the world's earnings have predicted that they will be earning much less than they expected. Events that the world awaits are also on the verge of cancellation. The Swiss government has banned large events of over 1,000 people with immediate effect, at least till the 15th of March, and this means that the Geneva Auto Show will have to be cancelled. Both the Olympics and the Geneva Motor Show are in question, where huge amounts of money is riding on them. But other sporting events, conferences and seminars all over the world are being rescheduled or cancelled. The president of Mongolia had been to China to show solidarity. President Batulga is now under a 2-week quarantine after having met with President Xi Jinping and gifting the Chinese leader 30,000 sheep. Saudi Arabia said it would temporarily suspend travel to the holiest sites in Islam months ahead of the annual Hajj pilgrimage. India has temporarily suspended visa on arrival for Japanese and Korean nationals. The Hong Kong government has placed a dog in quarantine after biological samples from the animal tested weak positive for the coronavirus. COVID-19 is bringing the world to a standstill.
The world is being affected by a deadly virus, but on the Dalal Street, it seemed as if the Indian markets were down with COVID-19. It was bloodbath last Friday, whether it is the benchmark indices or other stocks as well in trading. You saw the markets plummeting last week. On Friday, most of the stocks fell down as investors feared the impact of coronavirus. Not just in India, the global economy is fearing this deadly virus, and a slowdown is now being anticipated.
Friday the 28th, the last trading day of February, saw a bloodbath on the Dalal Street. The two market indices, both Sensex and Nifty, came down crashing. Sensex fell 1,448 points and Nifty saw its steepest fall in 4 years. Investors lost 5.5 lakh crore rupees in one day as the Indian stocks tracked the worst global sell-off since the 2008 economic crisis. This came as bad news for an already sluggish Indian economy that grew at 4.7% in the December quarter. With the spread of the coronavirus showing no signs of stopping, investors are worried that a long-term global economic slowdown is on the horizon.
What we saw yesterday, Dow Jones fell by more than 1,000 points, and today Japanese market and Chinese market, overall Asian and Australian markets opened much lower. This is nothing but a fear of epidemic turning into pandemic, as I told you last time. So the sooner this virus, coronavirus, is contained and we see fewer cases, fewer cases, that's the only time where some kind of stability will return to the market.
While the global market indices are also down with the coronavirus impact, the International Monetary Fund is likely to downgrade global growth.
We are likely to downgrade our growth projections for the world in the World Economic Outlook in April. I do not have another number for you today, but clearly the virus is going to have an impact on growth.
Post the outbreak of the virus, spending of the governments has increased, and experts believe that productivity growth continues to remain a challenge across the globe.
Member states are still struggling to get back on their pre-crisis public investment levels. At the same time, other types of government expenditure are now higher than before the crisis. There is therefore need to improve the quality of public finances.
The epidemic, which first emerged in China, is now turning into a pandemic, and fears of a larger than expected fallout on the global economy are increasing.
Hopes that the coronavirus would be contained to China have vanished. The coronavirus continues to spread in the Middle East, Europe and other parts of the world as well, with Nigeria, Lithuania and Brazil confirming their first cases. However, parts of China have begun to lower their emergency response level as the number of new cases reported there continues to slow down. Here's a look.
With more than a dozen countries recording their first confirmed cases over the past 48 hours, the steady march of the new coronavirus outbreak continues unabated. New Zealand confirmed its first case of the new coronavirus on Friday in someone who returned from Iran, but said the chances of a community outbreak remains low. The patient is being treated in Auckland City Hospital.
Public health officials have begun tracing the patient's other close contacts to ensure that appropriate protection measures are in place, and this includes a group of people who were on the flight involved, particularly for the final leg which came from Bali to New Zealand. The people who the Public Health Service in Auckland will be contacting will be the people who were in the same row as this individual or the 2 rows ahead and behind. Those people will be contacted by Public Health.
With the first case in sub-Saharan Africa being announced in Nigeria, people are concerned about the spread of the disease. Lagos is the biggest city in Africa's most populous country, with a population of about 20 million.
If a country like China cannot totally contain and control this coronavirus thing, as sophisticated as they are, I'm very scared about Nigeria. I'm very, very scared. And I just hope that the government will act very, very fast and prompt about this and make sure that the citizens are safe.
I don't think it's real. It's alien. He mustn't come here because we are praying. We have enough people, prophets in Lagos. So we are praying that he mustn't come to Lagos. If he's here, it's something that's appalling.
South Korea reported 571 new coronavirus cases on Friday, bringing the country's total number of infections to 2,337. This is the highest reported cases outside China. Officials have reported 1 new death from novel coronavirus in the city of Daegu, bringing the total number of coronavirus deaths in the country to 13. The victim was a 74-year-old man and a member of the same religious group at the heart of the outbreak in the country. The governor of Italy's Lombardy region has placed himself in quarantine after one of his staff tested positive for coronavirus. More than 300 people have tested positive over the past week in Lombardy alone, which is centered in Italy's financial capital, Milan. 10 people have died in the region. Across Italy, more than 650 people have contracted the disease and 17 have died, the worst contagion so far recorded in Europe. As a result, the streets of central Milan remain eerily quiet. Hours after the western German state of North Rhine-Westphalia reported 14 new cases, the total toll in the Heisenberg area has risen to at least 21. The small town of Gangelt in the western Heisenberg district, where a couple were the first confirmed cases, now resembles a ghost town with closed schools and empty streets. The US on Thursday eased sanctions on Iran to allow certain humanitarian trade transactions with Iran's central bank as the country is grappling with an increasing number of coronavirus cases. Iran's Vice President Massoumeh Ebtekar and the highest-ranking woman in the government has a confirmed coronavirus infection and is quarantined at her home. The country's Deputy Health Minister and a Member of Parliament have also tested positive for the coronavirus.
من کارهایی رو که به عهدم گذاشته شده تلفنی دنبال میکنم. امیدوارم که ظرف چند روز آینده که علائمم رفع شد دوباره برگردم و خدمتگزاری به شما عزیزان رو ادامه بدم. فعلا خدا نگهدار.
Iran has urged citizens to avoid making unnecessary trips within the country and cancelled Friday prayers in Tehran and other cities. Iran has so far reported a toll of 245 cases and 26 deaths, the most deaths outside China. In Greece, after 3 cases of coronavirus being reported in the last 24 hours, the country has decided to suspend all carnival celebrations. This while pharmacists in Athens are facing shortages in face masks and antiseptic products. Meanwhile, countries are taking all precautions to contain the virus outbreak. While Switzerland has banned large events expected to draw more than 1,000 people as a measure to help combat the spread of the new coronavirus, Saudi Arabia has suspended foreigners' entry for the Umrah pilgrimage and tourism from countries where the new coronavirus has spread. Saudi Arabia has had no cases of the coronavirus, but it has been spreading in some neighbouring countries.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.